Mike, turn your games down.
Space, the final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of games my mom found as we continue our one-year journey to explore the Star Trek films and venture to the unknown, where many podcasters have gone before. I am Mike Albertin, and who's time traveling with me tonight?
I'm Peter, insert colorful metaphor here, Bingham-Pankratz.
And this is Time Authority Officer Kerry Carusetta, ready to arrest some people.
Yes.
Chekhov is going to time jail.
He was close. We are here to talk about the fourth movie in our voyage, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, directed by Leonard Nimoy, screenplay by Steve Mearson, Peter Cricks, Nicholas Meyer, Hal Bennett, and production company was Paramount Pictures, and came out in 1986.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
My God.
On the 20th, it came out on the 20th anniversary of Star Trek, and here we are on the 40th.
The 60th.
Or the 60th anniversary of Star Trek.
Right, but the 40th anniversary of this movie.
Yes.
Right. Crazy.
My God. Hey, the good news, at least the episode will be done, so when someone goes, hey, it's the 40th anniversary, and if I see it on Facebook, I'll be like, oh, hey, check this out. That's what I do.
Yeah, there we
When
go.
people, celebrate things, I'll be like, oh, check out this episode.
Set yourself a reminder for Thanksgiving, because that's when it came out.
Oh, okay. It's always like to start these off with our history. I watched this movie once, and only once, and have remembered nothing about it until I watched it literally yesterday and today. That's my history. Peter.
I've seen it a couple times. Since I was a kid, I'm sure I watched it right after I got into Star Trek in the late 90s. I watched it, and I watched it recently. Past 10 years I've seen it, but it's been a minute since I've actually sat down and watched it, so it was good to refresh.
And Kerry.
I've seen clips, but yesterday was my first time watching it.
Somebody going in blind. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, not entirely blind. Almost there.
Yeah, because of just like being a Trekkie and cultural osmosis, I knew the plot, but still, yeah, I went in blind otherwise.
To be fair, even knowing the plot really doesn't make sense. So, not without seeing the movie.
Yeah.
I think the plot is, I think it's got a coherent plot.
Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. It'd be hard to explain to someone without any counter context. Unless...
Oh, yeah, they got to know Star Trek, for sure.
Yeah, because this is, as we said before, this is like the end of a little trilogy in these movies.
Right.
Which is so weird, too. Like, normally you think of trilogy, you think of, 1, 2, and 3, not 2, 3, and 4.
Right. And what's more common, too. Yeah.
Well, one was kind of just testing the waters. Will we be allowed to make a Star Trek movie? All right. Yeah. All right. Now let's do a trilogy. But I don't know if they were intending that originally or not.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess they ended the Wrath of Khan with Spock dying. And I think they didn't know if Leonard Nimoy wanted to come back. And Leonard Nimoy was like, oh, I really loved it. Let's come back. So I guess they knew that they had to bring him back somehow.
Right.
And then, there are lots of discussions about this movie. Obviously, they were exiled at the end of 3, or the Enterprise was destroyed, so they went to Vulcan. And so, I guess
the Bounty,
the HMS Bounty, yes,
they renamed the Bird of Prey, which makes complete sense. That's great,
right? And I guess if you want to make another Star Trek movie, you're like, well, do we continue where we left off, or do we do something else? And I guess they thought they had to resolve the plot. Well,
you do. You really, if you're going to make another one, you've got to explain, all right, how do they get out of this? Because as it stands, they stole the flagship of the Federation and then blew it up.
And disobeyed orders. And like the movie begins with, almost beginning there, like the president of the Federation's being told, like, Captain Kirk committed these crimes. Like, he's got to answer for it.
Yep.
And the Klingon ambassadors, they would be right to be upset, even though they were the ones who fired the first shots. They're like, Captain Kirk blew up the ship and killed a bunch of our people.
Yeah, and some stuff from the third movie is still not going to be resolved till the sixth movie. So
right, it's kind of like Han Solo owing a debt to Jabba the Hutt.
Right,
like Captain Kirk is the Klingons really hate him, and they're going to get him eventually. But yeah.
And I do want to do a quick plot summary of this one. So as you guys already kind of said, we bring the end of our trilogy where our heroes are stuck on Vulcan, sort of, in exile, but they're going back to Earth, and a giant cylinder spaceship is trying to talk to whales, but hey, humans pollute. So we're going to go back in time, like one of the old episodes, to find whales. Dun, dun, dun. All right.
This is I looked it up, this is the fourth time this crew has gone to 20th century America.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone to the 1960s 3 times in the series, and now,
Well, they went,
or maybe not the 60s. They went to like the. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, the 30s in the famous episode of The Garden of Forever, they went to the 30s.
Yeah. Now, is that? I know they go to like a copy of Earth that's like mobster time. That's a different episode, though. That's not the
Yes.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a different
There's
one.
also
So there's
one,
2 different 1930s mobster episodes.
Well, one is an Earth, one is a planet where
Right.
somebody left the Mafia book there.
Right. I know,
And
and
so
they
they
created a
copied
culture
it.
based on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
original
So it
series
says,
is
tomorrow is
crazy.
yesterday, City on the Edge of Forever, and Assignment Earth, 4th and final time that the crew has gone to 20th century America.
The
I love
first
that.
time, I will say that the first time, in order to have an excuse, they were accidentally pulled into a star, and they accidentally went back in time.
Yeah.
And that was the first time travel. And then in the later episode, they did it again. They used that same method. They were like, we're slingshotting around the sun, and that's how I go back in time to do historical research.
But
So there's a
time travel that easy? Like, I mean, yes, it's not simple, but the worst case scenario, you lose the crew and the ship that you sent.
Right.
Boo-hoo.
So
Go
I
send
feel
more.
I feel like this gaping plot hole in the series is solved in Deep Space Nine with the Time Authority that I referenced in my intro.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot they
Right.
exist.
Yeah, the temporal authority or whatever, and then in Voyager you have I can't remember what they're called, but you have the people from the 29th century that are, it's like Starfleet 29th century that polices the timeline.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And yeah, and in that episode, right, it's 2-part episode, that what instigates everything is this time ship comes back from the 29th century to destroy Voyager before they mess up the timeline, and them fighting back, it ends up they both get stranded in 1999 or 1997 or whatever year that episode came out.
I
Yeah.
need to watch Voyager again. I know
But-
Enterprise has a lot of
Which
time
has-
whammy stuff. I know.
That episode, in fact, owes a lot to the Voyage Home, because they do make some references. I
Right.
think they had the same line, judging by the pollution content of the atmosphere.
Right, exactly. Which that was one of my favorite episodes of Voyage. I love a good time travel episode. I love a good time travel story, which so does Gene Roddenberry. He was really happy that they were doing this, even though he
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the movie. He was very happy to hear that they were doing a time travel story. But he was working on Next Generation, which comes out the very next year.
Yeah, we're getting almost to the inflection point when you have another spin-off.
Yeah, I was
First-
reading that they actually used this movie to promote Next Generation. They had the home video of this had a trailer for the Next Generation series.
Oh, very nice.
That's cool.
And I know that they reused some of the stuff on it is used in Next Generation. It's also why Next Gen is kind of funny, because my family and I were rewatching it right now my son's watching it for the first time, and then my wife's watching it for the second time. I'm watching it for the 20th time, and we're kind of in the middle of the 5th season, I think. Yeah,
Sure.
kind of at the beginning of the 5th season. But we skipped the first 2 seasons because they're a hard sell. Because those first 2 seasons of Next Gen are janky. And I was reading a big part of that is that they slashed Next Gen's budget to borrow money for this movie. At least their first season budget was slashed to free up money for this movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shitty.
Specifically, partly at least, for Shatner's increased salary.
Shatner, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie works as like the end of a trilogy and a good send off, which we'll get to later. But like, it is just a good film. Like,
I love this movie.
It kind of feels like an old Star Trek episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Better performed and better, more money, but
yeah, bigger budget.
It's still there.
For sure. Yeah, I thought this was excellent. I loved it. Honestly, like, I don't think it's better than Wrath of Khan, but it's the most fun I've had with watching any of these. I love this movie. It was so much fun. It was just, it was just a fun 80s movie.
Right. It definitely has that feel of like, this is all the wacky characters. They get into adventures. They meet quirky supporting characters, a typical 80s kind of adventure.
Yes, it reminded me of like Flight of the Navigator a little bit. They have a scene in it that is just like straight out of like Goonies or like Police Academy or something, when they're going through the hospital and it's just playing the zany music while they're running from the cops and stuff, and which I felt that was completely out of place in the movie, but it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a fun movie.
They're going for a comedy. We had motion picture was like a straight drama with very little humor in it, and then Wrath of Khan was a very serious movie. A Search for Spock was a little bit sillier, but still kind of like had heavy themes in it. And this was just a straight comedy. Like there's no real violence. There's no villain. There's just the villain is like a misunderstood, alien race that doesn't know what it's doing, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not trying to hurt anybody. Villain. Yeah, I'd say there's no villain.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the only word you could use here.
There's kind of aggressive CIA agent, maybe, right. or naval intelligence agent, but really no more so than he should be.
I mean, yes, he would have. He would be justified in asking questions.
I mean, it's surprising they didn't just shoot him. Like, it's a Russian guy in the Cold War on standing next to the nuclear reactor on an aircraft carrier.
Right.
Like, holy crap. And I was thinking about, this is still 4 years before the Cold War ends. And there's an interesting thing. So, like, when they're talking about the different cities and the weather patterns in them, they mention Leningrad.
Right, yeah.
Which is now St. Petersburg. And it was the Soviets called it Leningrad, and then after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia went back to its previous name of St. Petersburg. Right. But of course, they couldn't know that in 1986, so they're talking about Leningrad in the 23rd century.
I believe they made the same mistake in Next Generation, like season 1. I think at some point somebody mentions maybe Leningrad is mentioned again. I could be wrong. I feel like they make that error too, where they mention the Soviet Union or something.
Makes complete sense.
Well, who would have thought the Soviet Union would fall apart because somebody read the paper wrong,
Well, we'll get to Star Trek 6, which has a lot to do with that. But in this one, it is. It is a very 80s movie because it does have the Cold War as like a backdrop, but not in a threatening way, more of a silly, like this is played for comedic effect.
Yeah, like it's her like not realizing that he has an accent, I guess.
Right.
And he's sitting there asking the cop, where are the nuclear vessels? And the cop just staring at him. And she doesn't think to go, it's actually, they pronounce it vessels in English. She just is like standing there while he does that. And I guess he outranks her, but still.
Right. Well, they would have no conception. Like, they would have no thing like, why would this be suspicious? We're all happy human family now. So,
yeah.
It was pretty funny. I love how I keep saying it wrong. And like, what I didn't get was like, when you start saying nuclear, you think the cop would have been like, why are you saying nuclear?
Well, he does it. Yeah.
He stands there like, not my problem.
Chekhov has no idea why that would be an issue. That was happened 200 years ago. If we went back to the 1800s, would we understand, like, what not to say back then?
No. Well, maybe.
Maybe if you
three, I think so.
Three, maybe.
The average person, no.
Yeah.
Am I a Catholic or
Protestant? One of us teaches history.
Yeah.
One of us would be like, oh, look, that's where Lincoln's going to get shot here. What day is it? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I could probably do that too, but one's a little better than the others.
There's a very interesting parallel is that Nicholas Meyer was one of the writers. He also wrote Wrath of Kahn, but he also wrote a movie in 1979 called Time After Time. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but the premise is Jack the Ripper gets in a time machine and he ends up in 1979 San Francisco. Yeah. And it's very similar to this movie in the sense, because it's written by the same person, but it has a lot of similar moments where somebody's just like completely flummoxed by the 20th century.
And it's like a zany comedy about Jack the Ripper being in San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've heard it discussed on a podcast. So I've not seen it.
Yeah. Because Jack the Ripper was like, this is so much, the 20th century is so great because everybody's a madman in this century or whatever. So anyway, it's just an updated version of a screenplay that he also wrote. So it's it's not quite a remake, but it's, he's dealing with similar themes, the writer is.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I mean, everything with this was actually pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big comedy fan, as I think everyone listening to the podcast knows.
Right.
But I laughed at this movie. I mean, and it wasn't dumb enough. It wasn't too dumb to upset me and be like, bullshit. I was just like, this works. And I like Star Trek a lot, and it still didn't bother me that they go for a more comedic take, and they take off their insignia, but they still kind of wear their uniform. One, I guess they don't have any other clothes, they don't have money, they don't know what money is because there is no money in the 23rd century. That'd be fucking wonderful. So, but all it just works so well.
I think the joke is people in San Francisco dress so weird that we're gonna blend right in, even though.
Yeah, I think that's what they're getting at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I forget that would be a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Sulu is just wearing regular clothes.
Right.
Or not Sulu. Chekhov. Oh yeah, and the doctor. Yeah, Chekhov's just wearing a leather jacket, pant. He just looks completely normal. That's kind of funny.
So I have a random question. If I remember correctly, the end of the third movie, I didn't think Uhura was with them. I thought they left her at the station.
No, she met them at Vulcan. She was there for the...
Oh,
She was
okay.
there for
Right.
Spock's soul ceremony.
I thought they just went retcon.
No.
Okay,
she
good.
she was there in that last scene, but she was
Okay.
gone for most of the movie. Right? They
Okay,
left
so
her behind on the heist, and then she showed back up on Vulcan for Spock's thing.
that makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she has much more to do in this movie. They give every character like a little thing,
Yeah.
a little task, which is good. That they all can like have their own adventures, side quests.
I liked him breaking them up into pairs.
Right.
And so each pair goes and does its own thing. And it was a lot of fun stuff. I liked Scotty like trying to use the computer.
Oh yes, perfect.
He's just saying computer. And then Bones doesn't get it either, but sees the mouse and hands it to him. It's like, it's probably this. And then he speaks into it like a microphone, and Bones doesn't go like, oh no, he doesn't get it. He just looks at it like, yeah, that's probably how you do it, right?
Yeah, that's what
That was great.
And if you look, it's an Apple, it's a Macintosh. It has the original rainbow logo.
So they wanted it to be an Amiga, and Commodore was like, well, you got to buy the computer. And then Apple's like, we'll just loan it to you. And so they did it, Apple. You can also, it's like one of the very rare instances where you can see James doing his missing finger.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. Which if people don't know, he got his finger shot off on D-Day, storming the beaches in Normandy. They always hide it in the show. But yeah, he's missing his middle finger on his right hand. And when he picks up the mouse, you just clearly see it. I thought that was
I did not
neat.
catch that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught it. I was
Oh.
I was like looking at stuff, and I was like, oh, let me watch out for that when I get to that scene. And I saw it and I paused it. And yeah, you see it for just like a half a second.
I didn't get time to watch a lot of.
But I love he shows him, he sits there and just like rapidly typing on the computer, and this somehow builds out the molecular structure for transparent aluminum, which we do have now, by the way.
Right.
We do?
In real life. Yeah, it was invented in like 2000, in the 2000s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So it's pretty cool.
It's one of the original uses of you just type really fast and it shows you know how to use the computer. I guess he would know a keyboard, how to use a keyboard, but he's just like, didn't know how to turn it on and didn't know how to get started, you know.
Didn't know any of that, but once he's like, oh, I guess I'll use the keyboard. How archaic or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Or how quaint or something like that. And then he's just hunting pecking at first, but it just gets faster and faster. But I loved it.
Yeah, that's movie talk for you know what you're doing on a computer. It's just
you talk about like messing with the timeline. I'm gonna give
the exact same thing.
We're gonna, rather than just steal some sheets of the stuff that they need with like the transporter, they're gonna bribe this guy for it by giving him the secret to transparent aluminum.
Yeah, exactly. Make him filthy rich.
Yeah, which is really fucking with the timeline versus just steal it and somebody's upset. Maybe somebody lost their job, but you know.
Right. Well, there's that. They bring someone from the 20th century back with them. There's that.
Yeah, that
I'm guessing
shouldn't do either.
She just didn't have kids. Right. So it's okay.
Yeah, she had nobody, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, she does say that she doesn't have anybody, so.
If somebody asked me and I didn't have a kid or tiff, I'd be like, take me. Fuck this place.
Yeah, definitely. I love it when Star Trek, because Star Trek has done something like that a few times.
Yeah, it has.
Like there's an episode of Next Gen where they break the Prime Directive on accident, and the scientist from the planet wants to go with them. And so they let her come with them and leave her planet behind forever.
Yeah.
They show Mark Twain the Enterprise.
Oh, that's right. They do. They show Mark Twain the Enterprise.
I mean,
forgot all about that. Time Zero. Yeah.
That's probably something you should do.
Yeah.
Well, I think when the temporal investigators come to Deep Space Nine in that episode, they do say I think they say them Captain Kirk was one of the worst offenders in this.
Right.
So
yeah.
You get the idea that maybe they're like, okay, we got to make some laws about this because we can't have people doing this all the time.
Right. And that's. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, thank you for saving Earth, but you shouldn't do that again.
Right. And that episode, in fact, is a crossover with the original series. It's the Trials and Tribulations episode.
One of the great episodes.
So good.
Yeah.
It is one of the best episodes of the entire show.
We've actually referenced it in a previous episode of this podcast.
And we will reference it more and more.
Yeah.
Sure.
When discussing Klingons. But
the fact that there's no villain, there's no real Klingons besides the opening scene, because that the antagonist is just a ship that wants to talk to whales and humans are awful, so it doesn't realize the whales are not around. That's
it's like,
really good.
Whales, where are you? It's like just destroying everything. Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. I've always loved the idea of whales, dolphins, them actually being hyper intelligent, and we just don't know it. We're not able to communicate with them. I've always loved that, reading Douglas Adams as a kid. The Hitchhiker's Guide is the first book in a pentology. The second book is called So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, which is the message that the dolphins leave right before vacating Earth a few seconds before it's obliterated.
Okay.
So the idea is they're building an intergalactic highway and Earth is in the way. So the intergalactic federation is going to destroy Earth because it's in the way. And it's just right before it's destroyed. The last thing that people on like scientists receive a message saying so long and thanks for all the fish.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It must have been in the air in the 80s because
yeah,
I believe in Next Generation they do make a mention that they have like a cetacean navigators or something.
Oh, really?
And they say, and it's like if you look at the blueprints, they made like they had dolphins navigating on the ship, and it also comes up in the show Lower Decks. They actually go visit them.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Out someday.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense because probably it's in the 80s that we're really learning a lot of new, stuff about how intelligent cetaceans are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's probably
exactly it.
And saving the whales was a big thing because I tried to find numbers, and I saw that by 1985, humpback whales were like down like 95% of what they used to be. So there's only maybe a couple thousand left in the entire world. And now there was a moratorium of whaling that the world agreed to mostly in 1986. And now there's about 135,000 humpback whales. So they're not endangered.
They're coming back. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
that's wonderful.
It wasn't a result of this movie, but it was like kind of the vibe what this movie was trending on. But now whales are not endangered, or now humpback whales at least are not.
Yeah, there's one that's
amazing.
Still endangered, but I forget which one it was. I looked it up today too.
Yeah,
is the blue whale still endangered? Because she mentioned the blue whale also that they're almost extinct.
I don't know.
Can't remember which one it was.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're coming back too.
Yeah, that'd be really great. I know there's still countries that do whaling, but yeah, that makes me really happy. I'm always kind of the thing of like, no, they deserve the planet more than us. If we have to all die so that they can have the planet, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Like fuck humanity. We're like the only species that destroys its environment.
Right. Yeah.
Not wrong, unfortunately. Not at all.
Whales don't hurt anybody. They just swim around the ocean, vibing and
and make song. And like
right, exactly.
I think Jillian, the scientist, mentions that everything we can do synthetically, like we use them to whale blubber for lamps or eating or whatever and stuff, but we don't need to do that anymore, you know?
Yeah, we've completely like there's no purpose to whaling anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only really villain in this movie is the whalers in one scene. Like,
well, yeah, I mean the villain is man, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think that's a nice touch.
She says, like, when she's given the tour that they're facing a vicious predator or something like that, and it's us.
Yeah.
The blue whale population is almost it's almost gone.
Oh, okay.
They're down to 5,000 to 15,000. It's estimated that 100 years ago there were 140,000.
That's too bad.
Are they still hunting them then, or just we fuck up the planet?
They're protected in certain regions, but no, they're still. Like I heard like a NPR thing about like that there's these like black fleets, unregistered Chinese and Russian whaling ships that just do it and they're not registered. They don't even have like transponders in violation of international law. Like it's a big thing with China in particular. China is just like has an entire massive fleet of ships that don't run transponders.
Right. Yeah.
And it endangers shipping lanes. They endanger like other ships because they're just like cruising around invisibly. You know?
Yeah, because they're not. Yeah, there's no tracker for them. So
right, exactly. Yeah, so blue whales are still endangered, unfortunately.
Well, that's too bad. I did not know that.
They fixed some of them.
The blue whales are what? They're the biggest creature that's ever existed, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're so huge, like bigger than like a dinosaur, basically.
Yeah, largest animal ever known to have existed. Yeah, which is crazy to think about. I remember there's like I think it's in. Is it in the Smithsonian where they have the model of the whale heart, the blue whale heart that you can like walk through? It's like the size of like a small apartment or like the size of like a minivan.
That sounds cool.
I did.
That's somewhere. I've not. I've heard of that. I've not seen it. But anyway, sorry for whale tangents, but it is what the movie's about. Yeah, I love the idea, and no one recognizes what it is except for Spock figures it out, which I thought was interesting.
Thinking about that too, but also to be fair, nobody had access to computers besides Spock because they're not there. Yeah, everybody lost control of all electronics.
Well, right. But I was thinking like it makes sense. Like if they've been extinct since the 21st century, then it makes sense that they wouldn't know. They wouldn't
Kerry,
know what that sounds like.
that if 20 years pass, you don't even know what Jedi are anymore.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, 20 years, who are those guys? They were everywhere. We never heard of them.
Right, and it's been it's 200 years. They go 200 years in the past. I mean, it's probably been like 150 years since anyone's seen a whale. So it's completely makes sense that they wouldn't know what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it also makes sense that Spock would, just because he studies.
I mean, they showed the scene of him being really smart, and he's at the computer on Vulcan, and he's doing all these things. And that's just to establish that he can do this all without. This is all his mind. He doesn't need computers for all this.
Yeah, not only that, when he's on Vulcan taking the test to make sure, it's asking him a question about 1986 specifically.
That's right.
Ask him which of the following is true about 1986, and the correct answer choice is, one of them makes sense, and the other one is computers are cloned from carrots.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't
like, what?
That.
It's it says it's 1987. And it's computers cloned from carrots, and New York Times is last magazine to close doors. And he gets it right by picking those two answers.
Interesting.
That's according to the IMDb trivia.
Interesting. Okay.
Computers cloned from carrots. Interesting. I don't know what they're talking.
It wasn't meant to be read on screen. It was,
Exactly. Yeah. I was thinking about that. Like no one ever expected that we would have these high definition screens and these high definition transfers and be able to pause and look at stuff like that. Like something you notice like a lot with especially, well, I think that you see it with the original versions of Star Wars also, when they're doing blue screen in space, you can see the outline. Yeah.
You can see that in this.
Yeah, you can see it really bad with the whale ship. It's like a big white rectangle. It's a big rectangle around it.
Yeah, that lasted, I think, through at least the early 90s. And then they found a way to go over. They found a way to get rid of that. But yeah, for most of the time, you do see that. And it's not always noticeable, but sometimes it is very noticeable. But again, that wasn't meant to be. Most people didn't even recognize that at the time. So
yeah.
How about that CGI time travel sequence in this movie?
It wasn't bad. I felt it held up okay.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was from the 80s. But yeah.
I mean,
there was
it was from the 80s, so hey.
Right. I have the Blu-ray, and there's a feature about it on there, and they talk about, it was, I think the first one would use scanning of faces. So they had all the actors like get scanned by this computer, and then they morphed them together. And it took like weeks and weeks to do all this. Like that 30-second scene took like 5 weeks.
Oh, okay. Talking about the tripping out like during time travel. Okay, yeah, I thought you meant just like the big yellow trail behind them, and I was like, it looks very like Flash Gordon-y. It looks like way worse than Star Wars looked 9 years earlier than this. But no, the like weird, like they're going for kind of a. I feel like a lot of it they're going for a space 2001, right, or 2001: A Space Odyssey. I feel like that's what they're going for with some of this stuff, like. The idea of like going through time travel causing this like existential vision or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that's very similar to 2001.
You're going for a surreal thing that's not really explained. That's not like easily explained, other than they have like there's like a surreal whale in there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and similarly the whale ship is very like non-intuitive. It's not what you think of as a spaceship. And actually, I was looking, and it's based on an Arthur C. Clarke, which Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote 2001, is based on one of his stories.
Yeah, Rendezvous with Rama, which is a great sci-fi book. It's like a big, long ship that appears in the solar system. Actually, people reference that and this movie when a couple years ago, there was an object from outside the solar system that entered our solar system.
Oh, really?
And I mean, it was just like, as far as we know, it was a piece of rock, but the artist's rendition of it looked a lot like the cylinder and the thing from Rama.
Oh yeah, I could see how that would be, right? Because like if you've ever I've been to Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, where they have the it's like just a big pile of pillars created naturally that are all perfect hexagons,
right?
And it's it's just these basalt pillars, thousands of them sticking up out of the ocean as perfect hexagonal prisms. And it's the idea. So it makes sense that something like that could just naturally occur.
Right.
To me.
Yeah. And
I should check that out.
One thing I want to bring up is just the dialogue in this movie is so well done. Like, just hilariously, and I think
it's the best It's the best writing of any of the movies so far.
So far, yeah.
Like I think it's. I mean, Kahn is an amazing movie, but it's got some like real cheesy like Shakespeare stuff in it. at times, which
Like
I
that.
enjoy, but it is a little cheesy. And this doesn't have any of that. This was all really funny and snappy. I love how Spock just starts throwing curse words and everything he's saying. And he's still at the end of it, he tells him, Spock, get us out of here. He's like, on my damn way, sir, or whatever, something like that. And I love it. I love it because it's just like they don't do it for just a scene. It's for the whole rest of the movie. He just keeps dropping curse words into, but in a way that he doesn't understand how he's supposed to use them. I love it.
Right.
It was very well done, and it wasn't like it could have been stupid, but it works and it's hilarious.
Yeah, and I guess did
like
Leonard Nimoy help write this, or did he just direct it?
I think he helped. I think there was some writing.
Yeah,
the story.
There were several writers, and I looked this up, and there was actually some controversy that the first two writers credited a script that they discarded it and they rewrote it. Harv Bennett and Nicholas Meyer wrote another script, but they had to credit the original writers to it.
Yeah, that happens a lot with these kind of movies. I was just thinking about like this, the dialogue at times. It kind of, I was thinking like, the next year Leonard Nimoy's going to direct 3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah,
and I could kind of see like how he's got kind of like some comedic thought behind him.
Yeah, he's got some good chops. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if he did, but I wouldn't be surprised if he helped punch it up too. Because they could have been like in the moment they were like, "Oh, this joke would work." Well, or whatever.
Yeah, well, he definitely had a lot of say about stuff because like he fought the studio on some stuff with it.
Yeah, and they wanted some titles for the probe, and he was like, "No, it's supposed to be mysterious."
That makes it better.
Yeah,
100%. You should never know what the whales are saying.
Right.
I also love that he mind melded with a whale.
Right.
That was
great.
I love it. That's so great.
And he does it without even telling everybody what he's doing. He's like, I better see what this whale's up to. And he's
it's better because you don't even realize he stepped out of the scene, and then he shows up behind Kirk, or he shows up behind the doctor, and you're like, wait, is that Spock? What is he doing?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw him there, I was like, oh, is he going to mind meld with it?
Yep.
And he did.
I love how that one lady's like, what is that man doing in there? And it's just like, uh-oh.
I love the crowd. It's like a stereotypical crowd. It's got like nuns, it's got sailors, it's got every like stock character like you would have in there.
Yeah, there's always in the 80s, there's always a random nun.
Right. Yeah.
Like they were just all over the place in the 80s, apparently.
Like
I've literally my entire life, I've never seen a nun. And then but in 80s movies, they're just in the background all the time.
Right, exactly. It's like you have a costume and the Paramount lot. You better use it.
Yeah.
That had to have been what it was.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes no sense.
This movie helps a lot that they filmed on location. I read the other movies you said, and we talked about with Star Trek Search for Spock, how they wasn't filmed on location, but this one they were like, we have to use it, and it benefits a lot because you've got the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, filming on location always looks better than filming on a set for outdoors. Like there's no instance until like I guess the volume now with the with the Mandalorian and stuff, there's really no time ever that an outdoor scene filmed indoors looks as good as an outdoor scene.
No.
Yeah. And even with the volume, it doesn't look real. It looks closer to real, but it always is better if you can film on location.
Yeah.
And San Francisco is probably a lot cheaper than like Tunisia or something.
Exactly. I mean, that's why they didn't end up in like Russia or something, or like Alaska. They're like, let's film it. I mean, Star Trek is filmed in LA, but they were like, let's just go a couple hours away to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And do it that way.
Yeah, it's got to be San Francisco because we've established previously that Starfleet Academy and Starfleet headquarters is in San Francisco.
Right, exactly.
So, not Starfleet Academy yet, actually. I don't think, have they mentioned the Starfleet Academy prior to
Starfleet?
They have mentioned the Academy because that's where the Kobayashi Maru.
Oh, that's right. Okay. That's true. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. We saw the Academy in Wrath of Khan. Okay. Never mind. I was going to say because I know like Bones went to like University of Idaho or something like that.
He went Ole Miss. Yeah.
Ole Miss. That's right. Yes. Of course he did because he's Southern. You just can't tell he's Southern until Next Generation when he's Foghorn Leghorn.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love when she's like, are you from space? He's like, no, I'm from Iowa.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great line. Yeah.
But I work in space.
Right.
Yeah, I work in space. Yeah. I love it. And the doctor is the mom from Seventh Heaven.
Oh, right. I never watched it, but I did remember it.
I watched it occasionally. I've seen maybe like a dozen episodes because it was on like when I was like in high school, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on when I was in high school and then college, and I think I watched an episode here or there in high school. But she's just like she's so pretty in this too.
Yeah, she has good chemistry with William Shatner.
She really
and
does.
I guess Leonard Nimoy too, with like her, like the two of them. I mean, maybe chemistry in the sense that they're good acting together. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think that Shatner is typically not a great actor. In fact,
Right.
I think he's mostly very bad. And in this, he's actually great. He's charming. He's funny. I don't know. I actually really enjoyed it. I loved his interactions with Spock, and when they're like when he's trying to explain to Spock about the cursing and all that. It's really good. It's
He
really
doesn't
good stuff.
understand
It was a really good idea to have Spock be still not remembering everything,
Right.
and so it lets him be like an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
Which then allows him to be a little bit of a fish out of water, which is always a fun dynamic in a show, is if there's one character who doesn't quite understand everything else that everyone else understands.
Yeah.
That's always good.
I mean, that's the
works
whole
well.
cast, but yeah.
Yeah.
But he's
right. Him
because-
especially, though, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kirk is very 20th century minded.
Yeah, he knows. Well, Kirk knows, like, and he knows a lot, but he doesn't know everything. Like, he says, like, oh, he took a bunch of LDS in college or something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I love that. Or he's like, oh, that's just the way people talk here. They just curse,
Right.
like
Just curse all the
constantly. Yeah, just constantly.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. But he knows about it from a 20th century perspective. Like, he knows about it from 200 years in the future. Like, he knows about it, but he doesn't know everything. And he has his $100. Is that a lot? You know?
Yeah, it's not. It's much better than like on Voyager, Tom Paris just being a 20th century fanboy who knows like minute details of 20th century pop culture stuff.
Like a 57
all from
Chevy.
but all from the 1950s. He only knows 1950s specifically.
Right.
Yeah, no, I just don't have any really. If I had anything negative to say about the movie, I thought the zany hospital chase just didn't fit.
That one was a little dumb, yes.
But otherwise, it's just kind of perfect. I loved it.
I do love the hospital scenes just because Dr. McCoy is completely appalled by the treatment in this modern hospital.
I love when they're going out and the old lady's like, he gave me a pill and I grew a kidney. He gave me a pill and I grew a kidney.
He's always like, my God, man, these are butchers.
Chemotherapy. What is this? The Middle Ages?
Right. Exactly.
It was fucking great because it's accurate.
Right.
Yeah. And then the solution to Chekhov's injury, he's like, you've got to, fix this, blah, blah, blah. Here, let me just put this thing on his head. All right. That does it. I'm like, well, what do you do then? What exactly do you do? I guess you know which device to use.
Yeah. I mean,
it would have been cool if he had like a little laser scalpel and done something, but still.
Maybe he knew like the settings of it. Like, he was like, you need to be at 3.5 I don't know, something. He knew how to program the device or whatever,
I did enjoy that they're having to use Klingon technology and that they kept with that. So they have Klingon phasers. I don't know about their communicators, but they had the regular flip communicator, didn't they?
I'm trying to remember.
You don't see it very often.
He pulls one out at dinner.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, because she thinks he has a beeper.
That's right.
Fair assumption.
Yeah, well, it makes complete sense because a cell phone would be pretty much science fiction. I mean, not completely. They existed, but
they were gigantic.
Right.
No, it's not the regular one. I think it is the Klingon one.
Oh, is it?
I have subtitles on, so let me see if I can turn those off, and then because they're actually blocking the. Yeah, that's not a regular communicator. That's Klingon.
Oh, it's the Klingon one. Okay, that's great. Yeah, because I know the phasers are disruptors are Klingon ones.
I didn't know disruptors.
Actually, no, they're
stun.
phasers. They're phasers. Yeah, no, they're phasers. They're not disruptors because they fire a laser instead of a. Disruptors fire like a pulse in Star Trek usually. Well, no, they don't. I think the words are just used however the writer wants them to be used.
Right. I think it depends on which effect you're going for.
Yeah, I was thinking of the episode of TNG where time freezes on the ship and the Romulan is firing the disruptor. It looks like he's shooting Beverly with it, and it's like a green laser frozen in space. So yeah, I guess it just depends. But yeah, I thought that was great that they had the Klingon phasers and that they don't work very well. So Chekhov has to just throw his as a distraction and then run out this completely unguarded doorway.
That was another dumb scene, but it didn't bother me. Like with him running and he falls, I'm like, okay, this is stupid, but It
It's
works.
it's funny because he's just running through this ship full of Navy personnel, and guards are running behind him yelling, and all the Navy guys are just walking around like they don't hear anything.
Right.
All the sailors are just walking around until they're told to hit the deck, and then they all drop down to the deck. Which the only reason to tell them to do that is if you're going to shoot him, but then they don't. And I love and then he falls over the railing, and God, I was like, oh God, is he gonna fall in the water? And nope, on the ground, like 30 feet.
Yeah, I think it was necessary to have like another act to the movie to like say, okay, I gotta rescue Chekhov from the hospital, because otherwise it would be too like they have the reactor fuel so they can just leave, but they needed to get some kind of conflict in it, so they needed to have Chekhov get injured.
But it works.
Exactly. It works great. Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I judge all these movies on every time. Like, am I entertained or not? And I wasn't bored at all in this. Like, I did watch this, unfortunately, not the correct way. I watched over the course of like 2 days and 4 to 5 different. Because I was busy. I was really busy.
Sure.
And Tiff, I was like, hey, can I put this on? She's like, no. So,
I liked it.
She's like, I'll watch Next Gen with you, but I ain't watching that. And I'm like, fair enough.
She would have liked this one. I
think she would have.
She would have.
A lot of fun.
She was turned off by 2 and 3 when she saw bits and pieces of it. So, and she's not a big Star Trek person. So
that's all right. That's forgivable, I guess.
I mean, I'm gonna get her to watch First Contact with me because that movie's perfect. So, from what I remember, I haven't seen it in years. I just remember I only seen it once, and I remember I thought it was fucking amazing. So we'll see what my opinion is when we get there.
Good. Go in like not knowing much about it. That's for the best. Although that's an action. See, the interesting, they keep switching genres. They go from action adventure to like sci-fi movie to like straight comedies. And I think, well, I won't say too much about the next movie, but it tries to have it both ways, be serious and silly. And I don't think it's really successful. It should have gone in one direction and it didn't.
Isn't it known as one of the worst movies of the entire series?
It is. So. But we'll go there. We'll get there.
We'll see.
I'm trying to think what else did I have.
I do like the stuff with the park where they just drop him off at the park, and he's like, I'll be here. Doesn't really say a whole lot, and then he disappears. Yeah. She's like, wait a second. That was good.
They had everybody remember where we parked, which is a good line. When they first land there.
Yeah, it's not the best place to park it either.
No, it's a very popular park.
Yeah, park an invisible ship in the middle of a park and hope nobody walks into it.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not, I mean, it's cloaked, but it's still physically there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, there's a giant indent in the ground.
Right. And of course, they have the 2 garbage men who talk like they're from Brooklyn. Like, I ain't seen nothing. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
That was fun.
All garbage men are from Brooklyn.
Right, exactly. Complaining about
let's go. Like, this job ain't worth it.
Yeah. They wanted Eddie Murphy for this movie.
Yeah, instead of Catherine Hicks.
Right. And I feel like that would have been too much. As much as I like Eddie Murphy in the 80s, I feel like he would have been the point of these movies is to have the cast be comedic and not have somebody else be comedic. And I think he would have been too overpowering.
A good example of that, a similar impulse that was indulged is Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh.
They bring in, what's his name? Chris Rock. And he's just riffing. He's just doing stand-up basically around the cast of Lethal Weapon.
Right.
And it's like, all right, that's not why we came here. Like, this is funny sometimes.
Right.
It's not what we didn't come here for Chris Rock to make jokes. That's not what these movies are about. And you get Joe Pesci in the second movie, and he's doing that too, but it's not as aggressive because he's not like primarily a comedian. He's being a comedian, but it's, he's more of being like a funny weasel. Whereas just Chris Rock is just a badass cop who's also really funny.
I have never seen Chris Rock movies.
Yeah. So it's weird in a pre-ACAB world. I really loved the Lethal Weapon movies, and I find myself nowadays just not wanting to watch cops like murder bad guys anymore. Just doesn't appeal to me these days. Probably never should have, but I did. Yeah, I used to. I mean, I have the
it was the 80s.
I have the quadrilogy. Well, 80s. I think the fourth one is late 90s, but
they go.
The third one's they go into the 90s. But I think the first 2 are really solid movies. The third one is bad, and the fourth one's really bad. But I have all 4 on DVD.
I agree with that assessment. I think it's worth it to see it as a prototypical buddy cop movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was the first one. It was not the first one, but it was one of the ones that defined the genre.
Oh, I think the best for sure.
Yeah.
Particularly the second one is real which I have it's one of those situations of like where you have a movie where you've seen the sequel more than you've seen the original. And that's a big thing for me. Like, as we've discussed, I have an Indiana Jones tattoo, and I didn't see the first Indiana Jones movie till I was an adult.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. We had a similar situation where I had my grandma bought me Lethal Weapon 2 on VHS when I was like 8, and I watched that movie so much.
The villains in that one are South African, like, are evil South Africans, so it's okay. Like, okay, cops can kill them away, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay if cops killing apartheid guys. Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't mind seeing those movies someday because I have no association with them, so it would be interesting.
You'll have to make your Patreon supporters pay for it.
Convince me to do it. That's
have you do it. Yeah.
Speaking of, I wanted to talk about the reception this movie got. So this movie was well liked. It made $109 million, which in today's money was $328 million, which is on par with like what the Wicked movie made. So this is a big, gigantic.
I think that's domestic. Also.
That's domestic, yeah, and worldwide it's probably much more.
It's 100. Well, so it's weird. Wikipedia on the page for Star Trek 4, it has box office 133 million, and then on 1986 in film on Wikipedia, it has box office 109 million. So I don't know.
I think if it came out the end of the year, they might be counting different. It might be like some of it was made in another year. So I don't know.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
And it might not count, yeah.
It re-releases and so on. But anyway, 109 million on a $20 million budget?
Right. That's a gigantic
25, yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's a great return.
And yeah, it's great. And it showed people were eating it up. The other Star Trek movies made money, but nowhere near as much. I think adjusted for inflation, this one is the most out of any of them. Maybe other than the J.J. Abrams ones or whatever. I don't know.
This was the most money a Star Trek movie made until Star Trek 2009.
Okay, there you go.
Crazy.
And the other movies that came out that year, Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, Platoon, Karate Kid 2, Aliens. As we like to say, it was a more mixed of movies because like some of those are just like dramas or comedy. Like Platoon is like a serious war drama, and like Crocodile Dundee is a comedy.
And I'm just looking at movies that I watched all the time on VHS as a kid: Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, Karate Kid Part 2, Back to School, Aliens, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yes, of course,
which was number 10. But Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield comedy is
filmed in Wisconsin. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy the way looking at the box office from last year, it was probably all sequels and remakes. Maybe we had Sinners in there and other things, but back then you could still have original movies get in the top box office and a sequel that is well loved.
Oh, now I understand why he's so broken. He fell on cement. I thought he fell on something soft, and I'm like, how was he that injured? That makes more sense.
Oh, yeah, no, he fell on the concrete.
That makes sense why he's not really alive anymore almost, so, okay.
Yeah.
I buy that better.
Yeah, looking at like I think we did this before, but it's last year there were a few like new IP, but not much.
Right. Yeah.
It was actually, unless you count like there's adaptation, there's F1, and then there was a Minecraft movie, which is an adaptation of a video game. Everything else was sequels.
That movie is not good.
Yeah, and most of them are heavily reliant on like special effects and action adventure.
Oh, all of them, all the top 10 are big special effects. There's not one of these that isn't a special effects thing.
Right.
Special effects or animated.
Right, exactly. Which is I consider a form of special effect, I guess.
Yeah,
it's like
I would too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. If Top Gun and Crocodile Dundee, which are not special effects driven blockbusters, I would say not really action movies, really. They're more of like, look at these stars and how great these movie stars are.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this movie, Voyage Home, does depend on the cast, too, because if it wasn't a cast that people knew and loved, they might not have gone to see it so much.
Yeah, and Paramount, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 are Paramount.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy, because like, do they even... I guess they exist. They were bought. They're owned by frickin' Donald Trump's buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than like, I know they did the Mission Impossible movies. I don't know what their big IP was, and I think that's done now. I don't know what.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They've got Star Trek and Mission Impossible, Transformers.
Right, but like they're not still pumping those out.
Oh right, yeah. I don't know.
I guess they release a Transformers movie every so often. One comes out, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
They were. I don't know. There's probably nothing coming right now because Hasbro, I don't think is doing too well. So, but yeah, there was.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I will want to see, by the time we get to the next couple movies, we'll get more into the territory of big blockbusters and sequels. But right now we're still in the...
Heck, we're just 86. Isn't the next one 89, I think?
Yeah, that was a lot of sequels in that year.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
I want to say a few things that I wrote down about the cast. This has the first woman captain who plays the captain of the Saratoga, which gets knocked out.
Which the actress, well, I'll say the actress, she comes back and plays another Starfleet captain, Geordie LaForge's mom.
Right. Yep. That's, and she was, she also played, she was in Coming to America with James Earl Jones. And then they referenced that in The Lion King, in which she and James Earl Jones are the voice of Simba's parents as well.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Right. It was a direct reference to Coming to America. So
that's great. Yeah.
And then we have Brock Peters, who plays the Admiral, who is in Star Trek VI and also plays Ben Sisko's dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
in Deep Space
cool.
Nine. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. He's a famous actor from To Kill a Mockingbird, but he shows up in this as just an admiral.
He played Tom Robinson and Kill a Mockingbird.
Yep. And then you do have Majel Barrett was in the opening credits. However, she appears only very briefly.
Has one line.
Yes, one line. And apparently I read they cut out a lot of her stuff, which made her mad. So
yeah.
I mean, it make me mad too. You know, you're in a movie and they're like, you're not gonna show all your work. Like, yeah, that's shitty.
Yeah, because I saw that she was there and I was waiting for her, and then I didn't ever even notice her. She's like at the very end, and I didn't even realize it was her.
Yep.
They had a simple joke in here that I really appreciated with Spock's mother, where she asked him, "What do you feel?" and he can't answer the question. And at the very end of the movie, he tells his father, "Tell her I feel fine," or something like that. But it was I was like,
yeah, I didn't catch that. That's very good.
Yeah. There's a lot of little stuff in the movie that just works, and like, you know, it captures that Star Trek formula that is very hard for these movies to capture.
I love that they did not have a explanation for the probe. They didn't say, oh, well, they must have been on this planet or they must have visited. They just let it go away. And they didn't have a scene where Spock was like, well, judging by my calculations, they visited here 10 million years ago or whatever. You know, you don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah, it's implied, but not for sure. Yeah, I like it.
It's very much like 2001 or something, where they introduce these big aliens and they never really say what's going on. It just leaves you with these images. And I feel like a modern movie would try to explain it. Like, definitely a J.J. Abrams movie would be like, have the whales talk to them through the translator and be like, we came to this planet, you know, whatever.
And then they never would solve the answer.
Yeah, like current audiences either demand or are just forced to have extremely like on the nose explanations for everything.
Right.
Everything has to be explained.
Leave it a mystery.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really well done. Everything about it. Every note the studio gave that Leonard Nimoy fought and didn't do was like the right call. And like I don't know if it was his idea or not, but Saavik, they were gonna in the script. There's a whole thing about that Saavik did in fact fuck teenage Spock and was pregnant with his child.
Oh my god!
And they didn't end up filming those scenes, and so they are not canonical, which is good because that is creepy and weird and bad.
I'm happy they did not, that he fought that.
Yeah, but really, like, she stays on Vulcan because Leonard Nimoy thought it would be redundant to have two Vulcans on Earth.
Makes sense.
So, yeah.
I'm just watching the scene again where he gives that woman the pill, and I forget. God, it is so funny. He's like, "Here, Ken, give me a call if it doesn't work," and then he walks away like he knows he can't call her. Like he also knows it's gonna work, so he's not concerned. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. But it kind of reminds me of like, I feel like there's a similar scene in Deep Space Nine in the episode where they go back to the early 21st century and Sisko turns out that Sisko actually is this historical figure that caused these like riots that helped like.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Right. I feel like there's a similar scene where Bashir wants to be like healing people and stuff and Sisko keeps trying to get him not to. Well, it's a different scene because it's more played like it's serious, but
I think they don't have actually, as I remember that episode, they don't have the equipment, but Bashir is but Bashir is saying these are all very treatable stuff. He looks at schizophrenia. He's like, all this can be cured even in this time period. All this can be cured. Why aren't they doing that? Yeah.
Yes. I love the idea of that, of having a doctor go back and be just appalled at the state of healthcare.
Right. Exactly. It's so good. And I think it's very progressive for an 80s movie to talk about that.
Oh yeah, but Star Trek, that's the thing. Star Trek's always been woke.
Right, exactly.
It's always been woke, and the people that don't think it are woke are just dumb and weren't paying attention to it.
Or they're just getting mad for the sake of being mad because their whole gift is to be mad about things.
Right, and they've been told to be mad, right? Because the people, the grifters running their lives have told them to. Yeah.
Right. But yes, this is great. This is a great movie.
It's way better than I thought it would be. And even though like it doesn't involve my favorite aliens and anything like that, it just works. And I think that's what you have to really give it props for too, is that it gives you an entertaining movie. Like it just works. I don't have a better way to put it.
I just want to say, you do see a couple aliens. Like, you don't get like an entire, but you see like Andorians in there. I think you see.
Oh yeah, they work it in, but not.
You see a bunch of stuff. It's like very like the cantina in Star Wars. That scene, the scene Kirk's hearing at the crew's court-martial hearing or whatever at the end is very like that. Like in the background, there's a God, are they called the Katians? The cat people from Star Trek the Animated Series. There's two of them.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Just full on furries. Yeah. They just look like a character at Chuck E. Cheese. Cat people. There's two of them in the background. One of them is having like a animated discussion with the Andorian.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And there's also somebody with like a big, like a big vinyl head. I can't, like, they look like kind of like some sort of like porcelain doll almost, where their head doesn't move. It's kind of very similar to the co-pilot on the Millennium Falcon and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, Neenum.
Yes, it's like there's kind of like a taller female Neenum kind of looking person. There's a bunch of races that we're just never going to see in the TV shows. Right. Well, except for we did get Andorians a lot in Enterprise.
Right. Yeah.
And you get a couple of random shots of an Andorian in Next Gen, but pretty much you don't. There's like anything that's not done with 10 minutes of prosthetics, it's not going to be in the shows just because it's too much.
Right.
Definitely can't do it every episode.
No. Yeah.
Can't have a regular cast member that isn't basically human. Except for Worf, poor Michael Dorn, who has to come in like 2 hours earlier than everybody every day.
I want to say also, when he brings her on board for the first time, like, "Hi, Alice, welcome to Wonderland." That's really good.
Yeah, she really takes it all in stride pretty well, actually.
Yeah, she does. Well, she just wants to be with her whales, and
her whole life is the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love at the end that joins a science vessel. She's like, I'm going to be on a science vessel now. She doesn't stay with him, and he's like, wait, but what about, he's basically like, wait, you're supposed to stay and be with me until I get tired of you. Is really the implication. He's like, no, I'll find you. Don't worry about it. He's like, how will I find you? I don't have your number, as they say.
As they say in your world.
Yeah, in your time, I don't have your number. And he goes, don't worry, I'll find you. And I assume she does not.
Yeah, she doesn't care. Like, it's not just because you helped her doesn't mean that now she's going to be your girlfriend or sleep with you. Like, as the way that he saw it. Like, no. Yeah. You both had a mutual goal, and you helped each other accomplish the mutual goal.
Man, if I was catching up on 200 years of history, I'd be like, open up Wikipedia or whatever the equivalent is. Be like, all right, what happened?
Yeah.
And if I could go back in time, like...
Wait, Donald Trump became president. The businessman?
The businessman?
Yeah.
The failed businessman?
Yeah,
like, he bankrupted 9 times. How the fuck did he become president? Yeah, I wonder that too. Yeah, I would 100%, if I went in the future, I would start looking everything up to try to see where world goes and what I missed.
Yeah.
Also, if I went back in time, I'd want to go find stuff.
I guess the charges are dropped, and Kirk is demoted to captain. But it's like the president's kind of like, you wanted this anyway. You wanted to be captain, so
yeah. And we're giving you our newest ship, also,
right?
Which I assume is still the flagship.
It's not. They don't give him the newest ship.
They give him the Enterprise A.
But it doesn't look new. It looks. You see the giant Excelsior, and then you see the NCC 1701A. But it looks old.
But the Excelsior was in Star Trek 3.
Okay, but I mean, I'm assuming wasn't that a newer ship?
Well, I mean, yeah, but the Enterprise A didn't exist in Star Trek 3. The Excelsior did, so it's newer than the Excelsior.
Okay, never mind. I thought it was just they happened to have another old Enterprise lying around. They gave them.
Oh no. Well, it might be a Constitution class like the Enterprise. I actually don't know.
It just looks old. When compared to the Excelsior, I mean, yes, Excelsior is bigger, but that looks like a like we're having, this is the new ship, this is the more powerful thing. Star Trek 09 does something like that. And then here's this older ship, but it's their classic ship.
Yeah, so
That's
it's the
how I took it.
Constitution. It's the Constitution 2 class. And so the Constitution class, like the original Enterprise, is Constitution 2 class.
I think I remember reading lots of like fan theories, and there never really is explanation, but I think the theory was, they had a Constitution class that they were going to retire, and they just renamed it like, in honor of the Enterprise crew saving the planet, we're giving you a new Enterprise.
Yeah, so the Constitution 2 class is slightly different if you look at but it's really just a better model, really.
Right.
It is a lot smaller. Yeah, it is significantly smaller than the Excelsior. That's true. Excelsior class is like almost as big as it's as big as the Ambassador class. It's almost as big as the Ambassador class, which is the Enterprise C. So, but yeah, the Constitution class is like 5% bigger than. I mean, the Constitution 2 is 5% bigger than the Constitution class. So
yeah, and they spoiler alert, Sulu is like, I hope I get the Excelsior, and in Star Trek 6, he's captain of the Excelsior. But
right, yeah.
So it's kind of
I've seen 6. 6 is the one I've seen before all this. Yeah.
I remember 6 being really good.
We'll definitely get there. I have lots to say about that one because I want to talk about the Cold War and this movie, but we'll get there when we get. Yeah. Yeah.
We're not far away actually. Like we're moving through the series really good.
Just a couple months from now. Yeah. They go out for new adventures. So they get their old ship and yeah.
It feels like it could have been the end of the series right there too.
Yeah.
Like they could have just rode off into the sunset and we don't get we don't get any more of this team and that still would have been fine. I mean,
yeah.
Especially if the next movie had been the last movie, we probably wish we wouldn't have gotten any more. So
I think it might almost have been the death of the series, the next movie. But
I look forward to discussing it and watching it next month.
Yeah. Oh yes. It'll be great.
All right. Anything else to say about the Voyage Home?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Shelf Stacker Box, and I'll lead us in. I'm going to put it on the shelf. I had a good time with this movie. I had no memory of it, but I had a good time. It was fun. So, just shelf. I don't have a whole lot to say, just, yeah. And Peter?
Definitely put it on the shelf. It's maybe the funniest Star Trek movie. It is really well written, and it's just a grand old time for the whole family. I've seen it, I don't know this might be my third or fourth time seeing it, and I really enjoyed it. So, I'll watch it again in a couple of years, I'm sure.
And Kerry?
Oh, put it on the shelf. I loved it. This is my favorite one we've watched so far.
I'm glad.
Nice.
I'm sorry for next month.
You know what? If you don't know anything about it, it's going to be an interesting watch for sure. Because even if something is, in my opinion, a failure, there's lots of learning experiences you can get from failures. So
yeah, I mean, I am interested. I am looking forward to rewatching it because I don't remember anything other than it being dumb. And
maybe it will be better than you thought.
It'll definitely be better than I remember because I don't remember anything.
We'll be better than Nemesis. That's the real question. We'll get there.
I don't think that. Okay, one takes a crew I like but don't love. One takes a crew I love and shits on them. So right there, and then also kill the franchise too. So
right.
2 bullets right there for that. And I do want to mention real quick that this was dedicated to the crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger that blew up the same year.
Yeah, that was a nice touch they did.
Yeah, that was. All right, I guess we should go to plugs. And Kerry, do you have anything to plug still?
Yeah, I'm Karuseta, Kerooseta on Twitch and YouTube. You can watch me. I haven't been doing much streaming lately, but when I do, I sometimes repair stuff, sometimes just play video games.
And Peter?
You can find my books if you look for The Fifth Civilization by Peter Bingham-Pankratz. It's a trilogy. The last one does not end with time travel, but it has a lot of good science fiction elements. So check out The Fifth Civilization. That's the first book. And continue on from there if you want to read more.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, over 1,000 other episodes of this podcast. You can find everything we do on Podbean. If you want to hear the rest of our Star Trek movies, they will be in the show notes, so check that out. There's 3 other ones to see so far, so go listen to those. And if you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon. Little Dog vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. Usually, right now, I'm keeping 2 until I get behind. I'm not behind yet, so I'm going to keep being 2. So check that out. And if you donate $10 or more, I'll plug your podcast on YouTube. Every episode I make during that month, I make a shit ton. And those plugs never go away like these lovely people. Phoebe Stanton, the Let's Play Princess on YouTube and Twitch. And check out her podcast, Nerds Broadcast. And also make sure you check out Zach's show, absolutely the best podcast of work in progress. They talk about the MC movies and currently doing the Alien Predator franchise. And make sure you check out Bill Tucker at A Gamer Looks at 40. He talks about games, and then he has a new podcast, Carrying My Cross. So make sure you check that out too. And we'll give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy, Helena at Hell Has Free. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And please join our Discord. If you want to be in the show, you want to suggest things for the show, join the Discord. Always happy having new people on there for that. And always happy new people in the show in general. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, and rate and review wherever you get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say, so we'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
There'll be whales here.